Hey there, neighbors and naysayers. December 21st, 2023. I haven't done a video in a while, so I thought I'd do one. I'll probably end up doing two. I'm going to do one for the customers here. I've had some customer thoughts. But wanted to show the Bale grazing. We'll probably be moving them Friday night or Saturday night. Actually, I wanted a video. The last move, the bale rings were cleaned down here at the gate. You can see the one spot where the bale was. And the plan when we started bale grazing was, well, when we get down there, we'll bring the tractor over and haul those bale rings to the top of the hill. Well, don't you know it, we got about 3/4 of an inch of rain the night before those bale rings went empty. So we had to improvise, and I thought, well, I'll just bring the side-by-side over and we'll drag them to the top of the hill. And that was a good idea, except for we were figuring that'd be Monday, and late Sunday night I was over here. I had some things going on Sunday, and I didn't get here until after dark, and went out there and checked, and they were both empty, or empty enough that they needed moved. So the next best plan was tip them up on edge and run them up the hill like a hamster wheel. So that's what we did. It really wasn't that much work, actually. It was okay. I wouldn't want to do it all the time, but it wasn't bad to get them up there. The heavier ring, I had to kind of pull it uphill instead of push it uphill because my arms got tired. As we progress in bale grazing and as we replace those rings, we will probably replace them with plastic rings because they'll be lighter and easier to move, easier for one person to do. I can do it, but Dad couldn't. I mean, he could, but it'd be a lot of work for him to be able to move those rings from one to the next. So as we move forward, I know that's one thing we'll do. Here in about 4 moves, the calves will be at the top of the hill. It'll be pretty level. But the only problem is I won't be able to see them from here because they'll be up there. The only time they'll come down is when they come down to the water, the frost-free water that's right there. So still pretty good look to that field, especially for the rain that we've got. As greasy as it is, seems like it rains every weekend, so I can't get anything done. But the thing is, those calves are wasting enough of that hay to keep it from being really tore up. There's really nothing that's all that pugged up. And I'll probably say this 1,000 times over this winter, but nothing is overgrazed. It's not overgrazed to a point that I'm concerned about how it's going to come back in the spring as we look at this whole view. I was thinking today on my long drive for work that I think the problem is going to be the last 2 weeks when the grass is starting to grow, but we're trying to hold the calves up or whatever we got on bale grazing. That's going to be the issue. Until then, I don't think it's going to be an issue. And we may have a couple of rings where we get a really terrible rain and we'll have some pugged up spots that we could take the tiller to just those couple and make it better. Although last year we had a pretty good area, I wouldn't want to take the tiller to a huge area, but if we got pugged up right there by the... And then I thought, I really ought to take the spinner and spin around every one of those bales in the fall so that seed's already there. The problem is just time to get that done. We'll do it in the spring, and I'll just spread the whole field, and I'll just slow up every time I hit one of those bale scars and make sure we get good grass on it. But the way I think I'll counteract that spring is we'll tighten them way down so that they're only going to the water, into the bales, and we'll try to have a field that is close to water so they don't have to walk so far and we don't waste so much of the field. And then that will just be where we plant sorghum, sudan, pearl millet, oats, annual rye, whatever, in that area. Because last year, the area that was the last 2 weeks, which is first 2 weeks in April, was the area the grass didn't grow enough to suit me through the whole season. So we'll have to do something to counteract that, and that's what we'll do. I was thinking, we try to do everything as natural as possible around here, from not feeding grain to the cows and not feeding silage to the cows, but running a drill and all that, that's kind of unnatural. Buying seeds kind of unnatural. But we have to realize that what we do here is not natural. I mean, it's not cows just loose on the range. It's far from natural. We try to follow natural as best we can, but we have to remember this is a production unit. I mean, we're in the production business. So we have to take every advantage we can. I'm not going to feed cows grain, but on the other hand, I have no problem seeding an area to some sort of forage or some sort of annual forage in order to get it to recover and grow faster. Because that's what we're about. It's not natural either for an acre of ground around here to produce 6,000 pounds of forage or 10,000 pounds of forage. We do that. Our management does that. So that's just another part of management. I try to follow everything natural as natural can be. But we have to remember we're in the production business, and we need to make sure, A, that we produce something, and B, that we cover those areas so that we don't have erosion and water quality issues because of it. So it's stewardship. It's also a way to introduce new and better species to our pasture composition. So I've called it for years, turning mistakes into opportunities, and I don't know at this point that they're actually mistakes, but let's just looking ahead at what I think I'll have to counter-react. We'll get there when we get there, and I'll show that when we get there. But just wanted to give a view of this section now of this field is done. We get another 1 or 2 bales ahead. I'll fence them off of this lower part and just fence them right at the water. I grazed this once before in the winter, or bale fed on it once before, and I built kind of a triangle down to that water, an angle. I won't do that again because it just made a mess. I'll just make it square and let them come to water however they want to come to water. In fact, I've done it twice. I've done it once as an angle and once just a straight line, and it's better just as a straight line. Let them come to water however they want to come to water. So with that, I'll say we'll see you next time.